Hello and welcome to another edition of Our Journey with Adam and Kaylin.
Thursday,
Cheers.
Thursday. Cheers.
Oh, I see it. The background's eating it.
Cheers, cheers.
There, cheers. Hey. Tell me about your background, Caitlin. What do you have there today?
I thought I'd take the 5-year trip out to Pandora.
Fantastic. I love it. Cool. Well, this must
Hanging
be,
out with the Navi.
There you go. This must be the ship you took then.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I assume you're getting ready to go on your space vacation.
Yes, right. That is my dream. One day. If I can't be an astronaut, I'll just wait long enough for space tourism to be a thing. Why not?
I'm sure you will see it.
Maybe that's the future of is space travel. Why not?
Why not? We don't have to compete with Tesla.
Yeah, we'll just take on Amazon. No big deal.
No big deal. Big corporations.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an interesting sort of like chat we were just starting to get into, is that like transition from like small business to big business, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think we're really learning pieces of that. We started this business doing what we love, right? Helping businesses, helping people collaborate, systems, processes, blah, blah, blah. And then we're quickly learning to build a business, especially in a time of crisis. You have to get good at doing maybe the stuff you don't love, like sales, right?
Sales, learning new software.
Invoicing, accounting, all these kind of unsexy pieces.
Non-sexy.
That aren't in the entrepreneur brochure, right?
Yeah.
Follow your dreams. Like, oh yeah. But yeah, we were talking about, okay, like let's project to the future, and let's say Enta becomes a big business. Then all of a sudden, it's not just the two of us having great ideas and implementing them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, excuse me. There's going to come a time, like right now we're kind of in a unique situation where like we're everything, right? We're, like you said, we're doing the non-sexy stuff and the sexy stuff, the accounting and the fun process stuff and the innovation and the design. But, as we go through this journey, we grow and we get more people on board, and they're going to be doing, the day-to-day operational stuff. We're going to get into a place where business looks different to us. Like what our day-to-day is going to look different, right? It'll be about people management. It'll be about, investing in what we love, not necessarily hands-on doing what we love. And that's an interesting transition, because we get energized by getting our hands into this stuff, right? And so how do we keep that? How do we keep that energy when we're no longer every day doing what we love, but spending our time investing in what we love?
That's really an interesting thought experiment, because so many of our clients are at that point of transition where that's exactly why they hired us, because their hands are too dirty and they need to get out, but they love this stuff, but I got to be out of here, but I love it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you kind of, it's that shift, that jump from the racer to the teacher,
Yeah. And even some of our clients, they've grown so much that they're at that point where they're investing in what they love and not doing what they love. And they go through this cycle of losing passion. Right? They were so passionate about what they were doing because they were in it and they were doing it. And then all of a sudden now their day is dealing with lawyers. It's dealing with the accountants. It's trying to solve these bigger problems for the corporation. And that's not what they jumped into business to do necessarily, right? And they're like, oh, I'm so sick of doing this. And why am I dealing with all these headaches? And they have to remember that they're investing in what they love. Excuse me.
Yeah, and I think you're chasing a dream, and your dream can change as you grow. When you're a startup, your dream is to have a successful business, and then all of a sudden it grows on you and you're successful. Then maybe it turns to more of this like mentorship, leadership piece, right? Where you're like, holy smokes, all these people are actually looking to me to help them grow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
One of my old bosses, I was asking about this once, about leadership, and we were talking about how you can come into a room and work with your team and then leave. But on days where you work with your team and then just before you leave, you pause and you look back and you say, hey, great job, guys. I'm just so excited. Awesome. Like the difference in energy levels is just like, and I was talking to him about that, and he said, you know, there'll come a time in your career where you're sitting in a room and there's like 20 other people, and then all of a sudden everybody's looking at you, and you're like, you realize that you are the most senior person there, and they're looking for you to make a decision, and you don't know when that happened. It's just like this crazy moment when you're like, oh wow, I'm the boss. All these people are looking at me. I have to make the decision. And I just always stuck with me. Like for him, that was a profound moment that stuck up on him.
He woke up one day, how did I get here?
Yeah, that was so wise. So, you know, maybe same thing here. All of a sudden we're doing, and then you wake up one day and realize that you've created this thing, and your job is different now. You know?
Yeah. And I think that's, everybody wants to do what they love, but you know, I mean, it doesn't always pay the bills.
Right. And, you know, when we talked about doing what I love, like, yes, we love our business and we're so proud of our little baby that we've created here, but like, how many new softwares have we learned in the last 4 months? Ugh. Big ones, lots. How many we still learn? I wouldn't.
Learning programming that I'd never ever want to learn how to do. Yeah,
like I'm pretty good at computers, but I wouldn't describe myself as kind of a techie guy. I'm pretty good with Google, but you know, now all of a sudden, yeah, we're building back end auto emails and you know all this stuff, and yeah, it takes a lot of energy to start at nothing, knowing what you want to do, but then you got to learn how to do it, and then you want to start to understand the vision of what can be done, and then you know, like.
Well, and like last time we had this chat, we talked about, you know, some of our dreams, and I mean, space travel, like what would we consider success, right? Mm-hmm. And we talked about, having the capital to do investing in these ideas that we have. And that's funny that like that came up, right? And we talked about that because that is, you know, it's something that we have to keep at the forefront. When we grow to the point where we're no longer doing the stuff that gets us excited and passionate, but that we're kind of having a vision and investing in and letting other people do it, like we still have to be excited about that, even though we're not hands-on working out the details, problem solving, and that's kind of, you and I get excited about that, but we're going to have to, you know, put our big girl and big boy pants on and be like, hey, what the business needs is us to deal with the lawyers, to deal with the accountants, to deal with the vision and direct this ship where we're trying to head to, and check back in to be re-inspired by those investments and those projects that are going, but we won't have our hands on it anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of really interesting. I do think it is important to stay in touch with kind of the boots on the ground stuff. So maybe it's kind of like every once in a while do a deep dive, but you're right, you're not everything to everybody, right? At some point you got to let people, whoever these future people are that we might collaborate with, let them do it.
Yeah.
And it might be different than I would do it, and that might make me crazy. But there are some times where, you know, leaders, the best thing they can do is just say nothing, right? And
let people figure it out.
That might be the hardest lesson of all.
That definitely was a struggle for me, is learning to let go of control, right? Because my visions are so vivid and I can see exactly how every aspect should be done. And then when it's not done that way, I have to understand that it doesn't make it wrong. It just is different, and that's okay. It still accomplishes the goal. And, you know, you can't die on every hill.
Well, I remember when went to the registry office and signed over 50% of your numbered company to me. I didn't realize the time, but then you kind of turn and you were having this moment. You're just like, I hope you know that this is a really big deal for me giving up this much control. And that really stuck with me. I was like, oh, wow, it is. Thank you. You know?
Yeah, it was an intense moment, right? Because at one point it was all me, but I knew that, and this is part of the reason like we went into businesses together, is that no matter how good of an idea we had, every time we talked, it got better. And every time we collaborated, it became this thing, this amazing thing. It was like, it was okay before, but then, you know, and every time I'm stuck, I give you a shout and I'm like, hey, I'm stuck with this idea, this problem, this concept. And it's just talking to you, just explodes it out to what it's supposed to be. And yeah, that was like my saving grace in letting go of control. It's like, I know even like in the smallest thing, I'm better when I have you as a partner, right? To collaborate with.
Yeah, and I think that's what has been great about having a partnership versus me starting a business by myself or you starting a business by yourself. You know, there's lots of things. We can hold each other accountable. We can, you know, kind of be there because, you know, you kind of have your ups and downs. There are definitely moments of despair where you're like, oh man, this is just going like we're so dead.
Right?
You know?
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah, and then moments of, you know, extreme optimism where you kind of pump each other up, right?
Where I call you and I'm like, oh my God, I had this idea.
Yeah. Okay,
You know,
okay. Put it in the parking lot. Put it in the thing.
Yeah, exactly. In the idea bank that we have.
Yeah, and then maybe you know, future us, if Enta grows into a bigger thing, you know, maybe that stays the same. Just maybe the ideas are different. Maybe they're less about, you know, process or, you know, programs or whatever, and maybe more about like, I don't know, leadership or, you know, mentorship or stuff like that.
Yeah.
At least I hope that's how it goes, you know.
We will see. We will absolutely see. It's an interesting path that we're on.
Mm-hmm. But I do like, just to kind of summarize what you said at the beginning about like doing what you love versus investing in what you love. You know, one is long term. Doing what I love is fantastic. You know, it's passionate. I love whatever sports. And investing in what you love could be, well, I got to do this job I don't like, but that means that I can, you know, provide for my family and then have that time to spend doing sports or whatever, right? Like it's a bit of a longer vision. It's more work. It's harder. Not everyone likes to do it, but the payoffs are bigger. Right?
Yeah, and I guess everybody has to decide what they want, like, and it's a personal thing, right? Like, do you want to just keep doing what you love and you're okay with like that, living in that zone, or are you trying to cross that chasm, right, into growing something bigger, and then you switch into the investing in what you love phase kind of thing? I don't know. It's really interesting, and I try to think, you know, it's been hard. Like the COVID's been hard. All the change, the things that we're learning, and the learning new software. It's been, I mean, an adventure, but it's been hard, right? We had to step outside of our comfort zone, but we're building this stuff and we're actually executing these amazing ideas that we had in our idea bank. And that's been so much fun. And I know that there'll be a time where we're no longer doing that stuff. So I'm really, as hard as it is right now, and as, you know, scary and unsure the future is right now with the COVID crisis, I have to stop and pause and go, but man, I'm having so much fun. And when our business grows beyond what you and I can do, like being in the business, we're no longer going to be doing this day to day. So I really have to appreciate right now. And it's the same thing with kids, right? Like when they're little, man, you feel like you're just, your head down and you don't even take a head up breath for air. Like you're just go, 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 trying to just keep everybody alive and healthy. But it's the funnest time too. And you got to pause and like, man, like it's never going to be this awesome.
Yeah, you're right. It makes me want to go upstairs right now and play with my kids.
Right? And that's the hard part. And I don't know how we're doing on time here, but one more drink here.
Sure. Last thoughts.
Remember I did that wheel of time, and I mapped everything out. Okay, so I sleep like 7 hours minimum. That time's gone. I commute, or I did at the time, I commuted an hour both ways, so that time's gone. I had to cook dinner and I had to get the kids ready, so that time's blocked out. And then I had to work. And I realized that my spare time was like an hour or two in the evenings. And I thought to myself, that's not a lot of time for myself and my kids. So it's not like I can't take sleep away to spend with my kids because they're sleeping too. So like, what do I do? And I realized that what I needed to do is be more present in those 2 hours, right? To not throw on Netflix but to do something that fed my soul or fed my mind or connected me with my kids. I needed to be more present. I needed to throw my phone away for those 2 hours and like really play, right? Or really do something. And that was how I learned how to really appreciate the time as we have it now.
Funny how talk of the future makes you focus on the present.
Right? Live in the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cheers.
Cheers. It's been a great week. Time.